Hello, we have a fifth line day. Today we look at the fifth line called irony in the 30th gate of recognition of feelings, the clinging fire. And we go straight into a lifetime learning, which says recognition and dedication to transitory goals. The exaltation reads, the strength derived from knowledge and experience that 2 steps forward and 1 step back is still 1 step forward. Each new feeling brings back an old feeling before progress can take place. Understand what happens to these people. This is all about sex and food and experience. That's what this stream is all about. So they have an interesting love affair, and then they leave their lover because they find someone more interesting. 30th gate, they have a yearning and a desire, and they find a new lover and they go ahead and have a new affair, and it turns out to be terrific. But then 6 months later, they go shopping and they stop off in a cafe, and there is their old lover. And the feeling comes within them of, oh, maybe we should try again. Maybe we should see if that was really what I thought it was when I left. So what happens to them is that the whole experiential process is about gaining experience, not repeating it, because that wouldn't be worthwhile. But there are many situations in which you cannot know what you have had until you've had the experience a few times. And it's not like you're logically repeating the same thing again and again, because you're in a different place, you've both changed, or whatever the situation is, not the same thing that you're doing again to see if you get that same result. So it's not like it's the logical side repeating, but they will go through that process where they will take 1 step ahead, and then they will have their new experience. And then there's always the feeling that, oh yeah, I had this before. And that can pull them back a little bit. And then they feel funny in a situation where they suddenly thought that they were going through with something, and then, oh, they've come all the way back to the beginning again, and they've got to deal with it again. And the whole thing about the line is that everything is the same, except how you handle it. Okay. Now, in this line, there is no active detriment because Pluto is in detriment here. And Pluto is not in this gate right now, but it'll come back. It hasn't gone away forever, of course. There will be a new generation carrying this. It's in gate 30 actually for 3 years from, when is it, 2039. I wonder what the world will look like by the time we get to 2039. But the detriment, I'll read it anyway. It says, the anger engendered by the irony, frustration with its limitations, and a desire to eliminate the entire process. Frustration and anger with the old feelings brought into the emotional awareness with each new experience. I'm kind of glad that's not around, really. It's one of those things to think about regarding 2027, when we have the change and the global configuration in the background moves on, and we get the 55, the 59, the 2034, that cross of the phoenix. It's going to be important to take a look at these various gates and their lines and see the potential that's in them when the veil begins to lift. But this 30th gate, because it's part of a stream that will never be aware, it will be very uncomfortable with the individual emotional process that first displays the mutation. And that time of frustration will be there, brought in by Pluto when that generation comes into the world. Yay. There's something to look forward to. The 30 in the fifth line, it says, I'm going to get rid of both of these lovers because something is wrong. Why should I go back? Shouldn't I be satisfied with where I am? And they have to learn that this is the only way in which they will come to grips with the experiential pathway. These are the double checkers with their feelings. They go back and check it out one more time, and then they walk away and they say, yeah, I was right. I got my way on that one, and now I get rid of that feeling, and now I can go forward to the next experience. But that doesn't mean they won't at some point take another step back and just, check again. That new feeling brings back an old feeling which lingers in there, and they think, well, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Frustration and anger with the old feelings brought into emotional awareness with each new experience. Why is it still here with me? What does that mean that I'm not in the right experience for me now? And it can be a torment. These people can get torn apart in the feelings. The clinging fire is not necessarily a comfortable place to be. They have the new experience that they are participating in the old feeling that is still lingering there. And the two of them fighting each other in the emotional system. New feeling, old feeling, And depending on the wave, that struggle can either be full of hope or full of pain. And eventually they get rid of that old feeling because the new one is okay. And the low end of the wave is like, oh my God, that new feeling must have been a trick. I'd better check out the old feeling again. And these, by the way, these are the most seductive of the 30th, of course, because they simply don't have the experience. They're just always, it's just that push and pull all the time. And the seduction is a keynote for our fifth lines. And the grounding in gate 29, line 5, is called overreach, with a tendency to bite off more than one can chew. One of the lessons for the experiential circuit is that it's one feeling at a time, one experience at a time. Overloading with more than that leads to burnout, as we saw yesterday. And the 29.5 here is perhaps cautioning about overreach and the irony of dedicating yourself to a transitory goal. The moon is still in the splenic gate 48, the gate of depth. It carries on through the splenic gates. It moved next into gate 57 at 1807. This is the gate of intuitive clarity. It is individual. It is the gate of the right ear, and it hears now, as opposed to the left ear, which is in gate 22, the solar plexus gate, which hears over time as the wave processes. As with all splenic gates, it carries a fear. This is the fear of tomorrow, of being able to survive tomorrow, because this is an integration gate and therefore deeply focused on personal survival. And then finally, we have gate 32, the splenic tribal gate of continuity and duration, where the only thing that endures is change, and where the fear is of failure. Failing the tribe, especially on the material plane, well, that's a no-no. This can be a gate that is related, no, it can't be, this is a gate which is related to the sense of smell, and it can smell money, it can smell success, it can smell a rat, it can smell things that other people can't smell, and it can be difficult to trust that kind of thing. Like anything in the splenic there, it can be it can be a tricky one, because it's one where the mind gets into it and says, really, are you sure? You really, you're basing it on what you can smell? Yeah, okay, let's see how that works out, shall we? And it can be a tricky sort of, again, that push and pull within, to trust what you know within your body, with that mind that is louder than the splenic center. It's louder than instinct. And then emotions are louder than thoughts, which are louder than instincts. And you've got this whole thing going on. And it says, when we're teaching, and I'm teaching in the foundation classes at the LYD and the ABC and cartography, one of the things that I was taught is that the splenic is the quietest of all the awareness centers, and the ajna center is twice as loud as the splenic, and the solar plexus is twice as loud as the ajna. And you go, how do you measure that? That's what I want to know. How do you measure these things? It's like with Ra saying that you never get 100% clarity with the wave. You maybe get 75% clarity. Okay, sure, what does 75% look like? How are we measuring that? What is our basis for 75%? Because quite frankly, it's not working for me. Anyway, it is just a thought. If you have any thoughts on that or anything else that I'm babbling on about, then please do leave me a comment. Let me know how this is landing with you. If you have anything to add, or if you feel that, oh, maybe that doesn't quite land right, then please share it. It's all valuable because it's all based on personal experience. And that's what human design is, isn't it? It's our differentiated experiential way. And it's all valuable. And just maybe you don't have the what you might call it, like you could say experience, I suppose. Maybe you're not having what is laid out in the book that you should have for this particular gate or this channel, but what are you having? And how is it working for you? And does it feel correct? Or, I mean, it's so much, it's so juicy when we dig into our own design. And we have the guide, of course, we have the wonderful notes and keynotes and everything that Ra gave us. There's also a whole lot of experience that has happened in the world since Ra left. And the system is a living, breathing system because it's in us. It's not just something that's laid down on paper or chiseled into a stone tablet, and that it's always this way. You know, the way Ra left it is the way it should be, because that's not what happens with an evolution, and it's not what happens with mutation. And we all carry mutation, because I've never met anyone who hasn't got at least one individual gate. So there is mutation potential in all of us. So the system is never going to just stay in one place. So yeah, interesting. If you've got anything to comment, please do so. I would love to read it. And until tomorrow, when we're at the top of the hexagram again, I will see you then. And yeah, go gently and enjoy everything. Enjoy your experiences. Yeah, again, they're just weather. It's just like the emotional system. Experiences come and go. They're cyclical. I'm going to shut up now. Take care. Go gently.